Chainsaw Man in 2025. Sorry, that joke's probably getting old by now. Let's talk about this though. First things first, there's some things I need to mention. One, I am a total dweeb, and I've finished 18 different anime in just a little bit over a year. Two, I have watched Chainsaw Man 3 times and read the manga twice at the time of this recording. Three, I will stand Chainsaw Man till death do us part. Whoa, Chainsaw Man reference! This video is not about me though, it's about the 2018 manga by Tatsuki Fujimoto, and the anime adaptation of it as well. I first learned about this blissful work of art in the fall of 2024, right in the middle of my discovering anime phase. I already had watched Black Clover, as well as some other bangers, and some not as good ones as well, and I was just kind of looking for another show to start. When I did start looking, I tried to remember the names of animes I had heard other people talk about, those being shows like One Piece, or Attack on Titan, Naruto, and Chainsaw Man. I tried out a couple of episodes of One Piece and AOT, and they didn't really seem to fit my vibe, so I kind of just gave up on trying new shows for a couple of days. I remember the Friday of that week, I had finally finished my homework, and I didn't have any commitments, so I decided to give Naruto or Chainsaw Man a try. I ended up settling on the latter, and the rest is history. I watched the first 8 episodes that night, and stopped at around 4 AM in the morning. I woke up at 8 AM that same morning just to finish the last 4, because the first 8 had intrigued me so much. Now's when we start talking about the real stuff. Chainsaw Man doesn't take 8 episodes to suck you in, it takes less than 1. In the first episode alone, you're introduced to Denji, a kid with one of the worst lives imaginable. Slight spoilers incoming. By the end of the first episode, he's already become Chainsaw Man and already beat the actual out of a powerful devil. And that's not all. Towards the end, you're introduced to Makima, a powerful, badass devil hunter who makes Denji her dog? Alright, like, surely no one would fall for somebody like that, right? Right? Doesn't matter. Throughout the following first season, you're introduced to the coolest characters I have ever seen in manga or anime. There's a lot of different reasons I love every character in this anime, and I'll give you some examples. Denji is possibly the most flawed main character ever. You feel bad for him at the start, because he's got no parents and like half of his organs. However, he is a very simple man, driven by thoughts of food and, women. Yeah, mostly women. Not only that, but he's stupid as hell! That being said, Denji becomes a lovable person because of his realistic view of life and his ability to stand up for himself, in most cases. Keyword most. Aki is the perfect older brother. He's genuinely kind of an a-hole, especially for the first little part of the series, but he slowly becomes a very caring person and shows that by how he treats those around him, especially Denji, Himeno, and our next character, Power. Power is the worst, but she's also the best, and probably the fan favorite from this anime. A spunky little terror running around in Goodwill clown clothes really has a place in the hearts of most people who've read or watched the series. She's a very uniquely written character, and I really admire how much effort Fujimoto put into making Power the way she is, as well as giving her the best character development you will ever see in a new gen anime like this one. One more character I'd like to cover is Makima. Me being the attention-driven, touch-deprivated person I am, I was immediately drawn to my fellow redhead my first time watching the show. Man, I need to get out more. Sorry, let's get real-life Ranho off the mic. Makima is another character with unique and awesome character growth in this story, though I won't say how she grows as a character, because I'm not trying to spoil all that for y'all. Realistically, she kind of is what makes Chainsaw Man Chainsaw Man. It's not every day you see an anime that gives a lot of power to all genders, which leads me to my next point. Chainsaw Man is real, even though it's got some of the craziest, most ridiculous sounding fictitious plot points. The real life attributes of it are uncanny. To anyone else who has ever felt like life never goes their way, this anime is for you. That was so emo, but it's true. Fujimoto doesn't hold back on real life circumstances like death, corruption through power, and even littler stuff like awkwardness in your everyday relationships. And yeah, I know the main character is a high school age boy, so it's just like every other manga, blah blah blah, but no. The entire cast of characters is pretty diverse, with many coming from very different backgrounds. What brings them together is the need to kill devils, and whether that reason is money, influence, or just plain old fun because they're a whack job, all of these people have a reason, and a need to rid the world of evil that brings torment to humans in their daily lives. Something else I should mention, Chainsaw Man makes you feel. Another reason why those simple realities of this show are so important is the way they connect the viewers to the story. Everybody's got their own stuff going on, as you'll probably hear me say a lot. Scenes that I can't show here, but you need to watch, like Aki's apartment and the hug in episode 1, managed to channel some inner human emotions in me, and I didn't realize how or why until recently. Fujimoto was/is a cinema fiend, and the shots he draws in manga are absolutely unparalleled by any other artist in my opinion. I understand that sometimes these shots may feel a little nonsensical because you're not able to get the main message right away, but this gives you more time to think about what you're really reading, if you ask me. If I had to give another reason why you should watch this show, it would be the artwork. And before my fellow CSM nerds start yelling about how the animation in the new movie is going to be different, shut the f*** up! I need to tell you why the current animation is so amazing. So here's the thing, it's obviously an animated show, but I wouldn't even try to compare the animation style, character movement, and weight, and even the color grading to any other anime or animated show I've ever watched. Something about the bleak gray landscape in Chainsaw Man makes the special colors and attributes of important characters stick out so much more, as well as giving a very specific feeling of a dystopian early 90s Japan. And dystopian it is, as you will see as you watch this pinnacle of fiction. Some last things I want to mention before concluding here. Chainsaw Man includes some really serious and important topics that I can't just skip over. I'm not talking about all the gory moments, those are low-key part of what draws the normal audience in. I'm talking about things like manipulation and predatory behavior. A lot of people will toss away an anime and never pick it back up again when topics like these come up, which honestly is the correct response. Predatory behavior especially is something that shouldn't ever be condoned or be given validation, which is why I'm saying this now. Chainsaw Man doesn't do that. Fujimoto brings these issues to light as a terrible thing that happens to people. He doesn't give it an excuse or a reason, but shows it as something that happens and the after effects it can have on somebody. I want people to enjoy my favorite show, but I also want people to understand that life can't get better unless people talk about these topics and bring up conversations on how to fix problems like these. I hope that decades from now, when my generation is a bit older, we'll have created a society where people will have more respect for each other's bodies, personal space, and emotional well-being. That being said, just go watch the show already. I've yapped for long enough. Cue epic ending music. Oh, also sorry for not posting it so long. I've been locked in on school.